Hello, beautiful. Get your coffee. It's time for Coffee with Matilda, a journey to self. Today, I have a very beautiful guest. Her name is Houry Aguilian. She's a high performance corrective exercise and nutrition coach. She's a speaker. She's a mom. She helped hundreds of people to overcome their traumas, get rid of their chronic illness, get in shape, and reach their full potential. Few of her clients are Prince of Saudi, CEO of multinational advertising agency. Her passion is to create holistic mindset. Hello, Hurijan.
Hello, Matilda John. It's so
How are
exciting to be
you?
here.
Thank you for
After hearing
coming.
this introduction, I'm like, wow. Uh, I have never heard someone speaking about what I have done before, so it was quite interesting to hear it.
Well, I'm very excited that you're in my show. I have gazillion questions to ask, and I'm gonna start one thing. I mean, I've heard holistic. Sorry for my ignorance, but I've heard holistic before, but I don't know exactly what you do. So, can you elaborate it to me and my audience?
Oh, that's a brilliant question, first of all, because so many people think they know what holistic is,
Mm-hmm.
the term holistic is, because it's getting very popular. But I
Mm-hmm.
think really few understand truly what the meaning of holistic is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to give you an example of how I work. Maybe through that I can elaborate better, because what better than just giving a live, real example of
Mm-hmm.
how
Very
it,
good.
how the approach is.
Sounds
So
good.
let's take just a recent example of a client that I was working with.
Mm-hmm.
She uh, she came to me about 6 months ago, and she had hormone replacement therapy by her doctor,
Mm-hmm.
and she was in a lot of problems, such as like premenopause, hormonal problems, sight problems, hearing problems, and so on. And it was sort of struggling with her health, and she's only 40 years old. And we've been working. We finished the work actually. We've worked for 6 months, and we didn't work. She came to me, she thought I'm a nutritionist, because there is this, like, they're not sure what I'm doing, because I post a lot of nutrition tips, I post a lot of thinking tips, and so on. And she's like, okay, I need your nutritional guide. I'm like, listen, it's not going to be just nutrition. We're going to concentrate on so many areas, but nutrition is going to be one part of it.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the 6 months, just recently, she visited her gyno, and her gynecologist was taking a piece of paper and pen, and she's like, please tell me, what have you done to just lower your estrogen level to its normal level in just like few months? And she was like, is it the diet? Is it the paleo diet? This is the gyno asking. She's like, no, it was just a normal diet, but we worked on so many areas. So the areas I worked with, sorry about that. The areas I worked with on was how to think, the mindset, which is
Mm-hmm.
very important, how to breathe. The nutrition obviously played a huge role. The movement, how we just like removed her from certain moves and introduced different moves that were more suitable for her system. How the hydration was. Believe it or not, hydration by itself took me a few weeks to explain and go into the details. And then the rest, the sleep cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So there are 6 areas which we worked on. But the major credit goes to her, because she was really ready to do the work. And obviously it paid the price. And she's off the hormone replacement therapy now.
Amazing. You know, lots of
I can't
times,
hear you.
um, you cannot hear me? No? Because my mic is on.
I can't hear
No?
anything.
Nothing? Um, I can hear me. I think I'm on.
Uh,
You cannot hear me? Do you want to come back again?
Maybe on off. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, I can hear you properly.
And how about the audience? They're hearing you, or they're not just...
Let's see if the audience are hearing me. I think
I'm
everyone's
going to
here.
refresh my browser. Maybe that helps.
Yes. Hello. So while we're waiting for Houry to come back, I think, yeah. Well, we'll see. Houry is back again. Can you hear
Yeah.
me, Suhuri?
Yes,
Very
now
good.
I can hear. I just refreshed my
Awesome.
browser.
So it's very interesting. You're telling me if I have any problem in my body, physical problem, it's not only something physical, the whole thing. I have to rethink about my whole system, what I'm drinking, emotions, my mindset, my workout routine. That's amazing because usually we have a problem, we go to doctor and we want to fix it by pills or I don't know. That's it.
Yeah.
Kind of with pills.
So any kind of problem, no matter what the problem is, I'm not claiming I'm a doctor. I'm not. And there's definitely need for the medical intervention, and it's quite advanced today. But the chronic problems that we face today, such as asthma, eczema, arthritis, just name it, or even just simple knee problems, whatever problems we have, which is chronic, it's lasting more than a few months, then there is a problem that has to be solved from the source. And it cannot just be solved by pills, because it means we're just targeting the symptom and we're not targeting the source. And that's what we do. The approach is almost the same with everyone that comes, no matter what problem they have.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. So, and then each client that comes with you and starts working with you, what's the average months that they takes them to come out of certain pills or resolve a certain issue?
Well, that's another great question. I'm trying my best now to pick my clients that are quite ready. And I ask a simple question. I say, on a scale of 0 to 100, 100 being highest, how ready you are. And if I receive an answer, before it was 70 was a good answer, but nowadays I'm not accepting 70, because 70 means I have a lot of doubts, and I'm going to say I'll try. And I don't work with I'll try. For me, when I give something, I'll do. This lady who came to me 6 months ago, she did 100%. And 6 months was more than enough for her to just like bring back in balance. Now she needs maybe once a week, once every few months, fine tuning. But the major problems were solved in 6 months. Of course, she has a lot of work to do still, but she got the foundation.
And it's like, and do you kind of do therapy with them too as well for their life, like what they're going through emotionally, what kind of problems they have in the house with I don't know, co-workers, I don't know, with whoever they are having problems with. So they're kind of sharing it with you as well. So it's a lot of work that you do.
I don't like calling it therapy, because I don't want to claim that I'm a psychotherapist or a psychoanalyst. And I think the difference, if you want me to explain to you just briefly what the coach does versus how a therapist works. Therapist goes and digs deeper into going into the past and understanding what's the problem and trying to solve it from the source. We do the quite similar work, but for us, it's the now and the future. I'm not so interested in what happened in the past. I am interested to a certain degree, but for me, the moment is the most important, and what you're creating at this moment towards your future is even more important.
Oh, I love it. You know, lots of people don't like to go to therapy because it's like, oh, it takes months. I mean, not that But I've heard people don't like to go to therapy because it takes them months to explain the issue, and then months and months they're explaining, they're talking about certain issues, yada yada yada, till they come to now and for the future. Whereas yours is like, okay, boom, let's go. I like the approach. I think lots of people
Mm-hmm.
will benefit from it because they don't have the nerves or the patience to go from childhood, yalla, start explaining what happened, who said what, and why I'm upset for you now and future. Amazing. And do you give them a workout routine?
Yes, I have a website. Through my website, they can just sign in and see all the workouts that are designed for them by
Mhm.
videos and detailed explanations with even a logging chance for them to log in and record what they have done. So yes, I have quite sophisticated system to support that.
Well, so whoever comes with you, they fix their problems,
Mhm.
their emotional problems. They nutrition wise, they get, nice tips, what they can
Mhm.
do, how they can do things, how they can eat, and they lose weight as well. So bingo, you three
Mhm.
areas are in one shot. So that's very nice, Suri.
Mhm. I like how you put it, but um, how would I say this? It's not a quick fix. I really want people to understand this. This is not a quick fix. This is not just like take a pill and you're going to be fine.
Mhm,
It's not about just nutritional tips. It's about a whole structure of lifestyle that is sustainable. It's not just like a diet program that will last for you for 3-4 months. And definitely weight loss is not my target. Like it comes by it with it, but that's not my major goal. My major goal is overall health, immunity boost. The immunity boost that we're talking so much about it today, for me, this is not shouldn't be done just when you're in crisis. It has to be done throughout the year, 24/7, with a little bit of like cheating, maybe 80-20% rule to be applied, but
mhm.
not just when we have crisis. Oh my God, what we're going to do, what vitamins to pop or do. It's not a quick fix.
So, okay, can you give us now some tips about some for our immune system? Well, we're in a crisis now.
One of the major tips that I'm going to give you and your audience is going to be
Mhm,
at the end of the show, because I want
mhm,
this very important tip for them to keep in their mind.
mhm,
But for now, I really like simplifying things, and I think
mhm,
that's my biggest why I do this. I do this because I love people. I love seeing people healthy, thriving, and thinking right. But at the same time, I really want to be this link between these people who talk in a very scientific manner and very big words, and regular people who are not so much interested to read scientific stuff. I want to
mhm,
be the gap in between where I can deliver this messages and deliver it to the people in a very simplified way. That's my why. So
mhm,
I really would like to, regarding what's happening today, to give my advice as immunity boost in a very simple form. But this simple form is very effective to a degree that I don't want you to believe what I'm saying. I want you to go and practice it for a week or two. And
mhm,
you come and tell me, whoever is watching, to come and tell me how they felt after a week or two of applying those simple 4 tips. Let's keep it just like simple 4 tips. And the first one I would start with is the thinking.
mhm,
Um, or let me put it this way, and this can explain how the holistic approach is even more. Matilda, if you have a very important meeting and let's say you slept really late and in the morning you
That's
didn't have the
usually
chance,
me.
sorry,
That's usually me.
and
Sleeping late.
you didn't have the chance to eat anything in the morning, your blood sugar is very low, and you're highly skilled and qualified, and I know you are, and you went to practice everything you knew about communication skills or whatever is out there. How do you think you're going to do at this meeting if you didn't have enough food and enough sleep?
Yeah, my nerves, I didn't have coffee, so my nerves are everywhere. I want to shoot someone. I mean, not
Exactly.
literally, in my mind.
Exactly. So for me, your brain, no matter how skillful you are, no matter how much training you've done in communication skills, if you don't have that stable blood glucose level in your system, and if you didn't have enough rest the next day, the day before, sorry, you're not going to go and practice any of those skills.
Mm-hmm.
Your brain is going to just mess up. So when we're talking about thinking, we're not talking about thinking as a separate entity. We're talking about the rest that comes with it. So today, for example, I'm not feeling I'm very much affected from my environment. And I know why, because I know exactly how to practice the things that I was doing even before to support my system, such as sleeping early,
Mm-hmm.
waking up early, hydrating enough, moving every single day, doing my meditation and breathing, and all these things. I'm not compromising for over a decade now. So today I'm not like, people are saying, how come you're so positive? How come you're posting a lot of positive messages and stuff? Because for me, I want to be part of the solution and I don't want to be part of the problem. And
Exactly.
if collectively we're going to solve this problem, we have to be in the center of the storm. We have to come to the center to not get affected from the chaos going around.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I can lead other people. So I'm going to start with the mindset, and I'm going to give my biggest tip at the end of the talk.
Very nice.
So for your thinking to be proper, first of all, please sleep early. And I'm going to explain to you why. Your hormonal system works so much aligned with the circadian rhythm, which means the moon and the sun cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So when the sun is set, your hormone, the cortisol hormone, which is your stress hormone, is at the lowest. And on the other hand, you have something called melatonin. You know what
Mm-hmm.
melatonin is?
No.
That's the sleep hormone.
Mm-hmm.
And the sleep hormone is at the highest by 10 p.m. average. So when you are at that stage, like your cortisol is very low, melatonin is very high, your body is really ready to go to bed. But what we end up doing normally, not me, but most of the people, is we drink coffee, we eat stuff we shouldn't eat.
I
We
finished my
just
wine at 10.
we get stimulated by this radiation, by the light from the screens, by the blue light that is around. And what we do is we elevate the cortisol again, because the body does not differentiate between the sunlight or the light that is coming from your screen.
Mm-hmm.
So what it does, it really like messes up. So now the body is really confused. And then in the morning, 6 a.m. in the morning, because the sun is up, your body understands that it needs to raise the cortisol. When we say stress hormone, it's not necessarily a negative thing. The stress is also important for you to go to work, to be productive, to invent something, to create something, or to exercise. And when the cortisol hormone is high, but we're still sleepy and the melatonin is messed up, we really messed up with this cycle. And the other interesting factor that happens is between 10 p.m. till 2 a.m., you do physical recovery. So every tissue, bone, muscle in your system is recovering at that period of time between 10 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Oh my God. So I think my body never recovers because usually 2 a.m. it's my time to sleep. So I missed the recovery part. Oops.
I will tell you what's happening now in your system. So between 2 a.m. till 6 a.m., there is a neurological repair.
Mm-hmm.
Finish. This is the 8-hour period of recovery. Now, if we push the sleep to 2 a.m. and we woke up, let's say 10 a.m., there's still 8 hours. Remember, at 6 a.m., cortisol is up.
Mm-hmm.
So the body is not recovering because your body is already awake with the sun,
Right.
even if you're asleep.
Wow.
And then you're worried the next day you're saying, oh my God, why I'm not getting waking
Yeah.
up if I don't drink my coffee? Or why I'm so nervous? Why I'm yelling at people?
Exactly. Wow, very interesting.
So sleep early. If you want your immunity boosted, you can go take all the vitamins you want. But if you're not sleeping early, you're not having recovery. Your body is not understanding how to support that immunity. That's number one tip. Sleep early.
Mhm.
The next thing that people are so much interested these days is nutrition. It's not, again, it's not a quick fix. It's not like this is the diet that you should follow, and I don't have that kind of stuff. I do a lot of food logging, and I do a lot of fine tuning after the food logs to understand how certain foods are serving certain for people. But what I would do, first of all, I would really concentrate on eating clean food. I know there is today the term organic, and I'm a big believer of it. But at the same time, I believe that so many people are using the term organic to market things. So clean as investigate where your food is coming from. And so many people tell me, oh, but I don't have enough time to do that. It's going to take you only once to understand the source of your food. You're not going to keep doing that. If you understood where your pasta is coming from, finish. You're going to keep buying that pasta if you're satisfied with the provider. So just understand where if you're eating meat, where your meat is coming from, where your butter is coming from, if it's ethical sources, and stick to clean food as much as you can, local food. If you're living in Europe, don't get meat from Brazil, for example. Get locally sourced, and listen to the nature around you. Just a small tip, a small example. People say, let's say, just an example, nuts are healthy. And I ask this question, have you ever tried to go and collect nuts from a tree? Have you ever done that, Matilda?
No.
Like, let's say, walnuts. Do you know, to take a small handful of walnut, how much time you need to, or energy you need to spend? A handful.
To be honest, I don't even know walnuts. Where is it coming from? I
They
mean,
come from trees.
I know. With this tree, I don't know.
with
Yeah,
hard shells.
Mm-hmm.
I understand, because you weren't probably born or raised in an environment where you had walnut trees, so it's justified. I understand, but just investigate where your food is coming from. Today, we're not even connected to understand where our food is coming from. There's the hype of, for example, quinoa. Did you ever think if you're in your environment, there is quinoa, or if where this quinoa is coming from, how it's collected? So for me, that connection is very important. Just the example of the nuts. Nuts come in a very hard shell, very hard shell. You need a stone to break them, or hammer to break them. And for you to take a handful of nuts, you need to spend good amount of time, at least half an hour, to have a handful of nuts.
Mm-hmm.
So the nature is not generously or abundantly giving you that nut. And there's a message out there from the nature to you. Don't consume it
That much.
in a generous way. But on the other hand, the fruit trees, the fruits fall on the floor. You don't even need to make an effort to collect them. So which one do you think you should eat more?
Fruits.
Here you go. So you don't need me. You just need to just open your eyes, listen to your nature, and listen to how you're feeling after eating certain foods.
Wow, that's interesting. I never looked at it that way. I never looked at it that way. I mean, I lived in New York, so Whole Foods was to go place for me. And I was like, everything is, I need some nuts, I need some fish, I need some meat. So yeah, I never investigated my food, to be honest. Just because it was Whole Foods, I thought, okay, it's good to go.
And do you think you will now? Did I
Now I'm
convince you?
Now I'm gonna look for. I'm like, I'm gonna. No, the connection was very interesting that you said that nature didn't give you abundantly. So there might be a reason to it. There might be a logic to it. So maybe I should go and look all the elements like this, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
what I'm eating, how I'm consuming, so I can have the best benefit of the best nutrition that I can give it to my body.
Mm-hmm. And
Because
if
I'm
you
getting
just
old, so things needs to be more calculated.
and I know you're someone who likes your grandma so much, so taking consideration what they were doing is also greatly advised, because they were soaking their nuts, just an example, before they eat for a day or so. They were sprouting their beans or soaking them again for a period of time, and they were eating more whole food versus processed food. So
Hmm.
just go back in time, not the previous generation, but at least the generation before, because I think
Yeah.
the our previous generation is what messed up with our nutrition, but not
Mhm.
the ones before. So just go back. They weren't scared of the sugar. They weren't scared of the fat. They weren't scared of anything. They were just simply not eating processed food or packaged food. They won't even recognize it if you give it to them today.
That's funny. Very interesting. And what about, like, do you believe in vegetarianism or veganism?
If you have asked me this question a few weeks ago, before the whole coronavirus craziness started, I had very strong opinion about it. But I think I'm very much growing as a person at this period of time, like every other person around, at least the
Mhm.
conscious people. Um, Today, I would say everyone has their own journey. For me, like chemically speaking, physically speaking, I don't think that's the optimal food.
Mhm.
And but if you're a supernatural person and who has from these four areas, like you're spiritually very connected and you have the capacity to change things. When I say spirituality, for me, quantum physics explains it all. I need to understand scientifically to believe in something. So I'm not a blindly a spiritual person. But if you're capable of doing things within you and changing your chemistry with your meditations, or uh, you have that capacity of
Mhm.
your brain influencing your system, most probably, why not? Like, especially, I support vegetarianism more than the veganism.
Mhm.
But again, it really depends on the person.
Interesting.
So I
Do
personally
Mhm.
I personally am an omnivore. I eat everything, except for bugs and stuff like that, of course. But the thing is, I really investigate where my food is coming from. Really investigate. Like, I don't buy just any meat, and I don't buy just any milk. I have to go into the details and understand that farm, call that farm, probably visit that farm, and even understand how what they're feeding their animals. Because if my milk or my meat is coming from animals that are being grain fed, it's no different than how I'm being constantly grain fed. So it's very important for me, the source.
Amazing. Oh, very nice. I'm gonna look into this kind of a lifestyle. Uh,
Mm.
it's very interesting what you're saying because before I never thought about it. I thought, okay, if you believe in a supermarket, for example, you just go Whole Foods, for example, you just go and buy it, and that's it, call of the day. But then, there is more into it, and it's important what goes into your body because it really gonna give you energy for your day.
Not just for your day, for the crisis like this
Correct.
today, it's obvious that people who have higher immunity, they're not at risk.
And
So
also, like, have you ever dealt with patients with cancer, for example?
well, my own coach is a cancer survivor. He's a
Wow.
leukemia survivor. And I really appreciate his presence in my life because he's a hero for me and he's a supernatural person. And yeah, like I saw how his lifestyle, like he has gone through chemotherapy. I think it was about 16 years ago. And in my point of view, he's one of the healthiest people I have ever seen in my life today. He's a triathlete, he's a cyclist, he's an Ironman, and he still
Wow.
practices those things. So I personally, when I don't like if something is not in my scope and I don't know how to deal with it properly, I like referring out. So if I receive any cancer patients, I'd rather send them to the source. So usually he's the one who I refer out to.
Very nice. Very good. So, do you have any meditation tips?
That's
Any
I'm gonna
work?
keep it for the last. But for the time being, I mentioned to you 2 steps out of the 4. So I mentioned the sleep, I mentioned the importance of the nutrition, and I understand some people are very busy, so it's not very easy for them to go and investigate, and it can be quite stressful to understand where the source are. That's where they can reach out to people like me or people who have done such a job, and it's not difficult to find. Or certain associations such as Soil Association in UK. These people are doing quite an interesting job in terms of figuring out the source of the. In Europe, it's much easier, I believe, than USA, or maybe I'm not familiar with the States one. But reach out, ask. I'm happy to do the job for you. So just don't hesitate to try to find. The third thing that I wanted to mention is the exercise, because that's a big topic by itself. And I know we're running out of time, I'm guessing, yes?
We have 10 more minutes.
Okay. I'm going to try to cut it short. So when it comes to exercise, people have this idea in their head that, okay, if I'm exercising, then I'm healthy. No, not necessarily. Because sometimes exercise is a stress factor. It raises the cortisol, just like running away from a lion. So, and that is stress factor is not to be ignored. Like without that, we can't build muscles, we can't grow stronger. But at the same time, we have to be very careful. If you're someone who's going to work and you're quite stressed about your boss, about the environment, and you had a really tough day, and you're coming home, and when your body is trying to, what we said, lower the cortisol, and then what you're doing is you're going and exercising really heavily and raising that cortisol up again, guess what? You're really harming yourself. You're really causing more stress in your system. Now you're going to ask what to do. First of all, if you're a woman especially, one of the worst things that a woman can do is cardiovascular workout.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't do it at all, but I'm saying don't put all your energy and effort on it. Because first of all, you are just burning your muscles out. It means you're really lowering your metabolism. There's probably very high impact. You're constantly like either running or whatever you're doing. So if you're a woman, especially if you're a woman, start doing more strengthening exercises, building muscle exercises, because that's going to really boost your immunity. That's going to really give you the metabolism, and that's going to really give you the strength and the muscles. So the other thing is, if you're stressed, highly stressed, if you had a day that was very tiring, please don't go and kill yourself with exercise at the end of the day. Do something, and especially at this period of time, if you're in fight, flight, or freeze mode, you're really scared of what's going on, please be careful. Go do yoga type exercises, stretching and flexibility, something that will make you breathe. Not breathe like this, but breathe really calmly, because that's going to really balance things out for you. That's going to create something called homeostasis in the system. And most probably it's going to contribute in your weight loss much more than an intense exercise.
Oh my God, people
Yes.
think the opposite.
No, because the opposite is very short time served. Yes, most probably you might lose weight for a month, 2, 3 months, or whatever. Eventually, that weight is going to come back because what you're doing is you're in fight or flight situation, and in fight or flight situation, your body likes reserving those fat cells and
Mm-hmm.
saying, "I don't know what's happening tomorrow. Let me just put aside some fat so
Yeah,
that I can serve this person tomorrow." So when
that's
you're
what my body is doing actually.
when you're doing yoga type exercise, you're like, okay, this person is calm enough. Now it's time for burning fat.
Oh wow.
So we said about sleep, nutrition, exercise, and now the fourth thing. Guess what it is?
Meditation.
That was part of the thinking.
Um, yeah, I don't know.
Let's talk about hydration.
Hydration.
Because today most of the people come to me and say, one of the questionnaires, I have a huge questionnaire, and I say, how much water are you drinking? When I'm verbally talking to them, they say, enough, I'm drinking enough. I'm like, like I didn't understand what's enough. And they say, oh, 1 liter, 1.5 liters, and they would be like 80 kilos. So that's not enough water for each body has a certain number that they have, like there's a simple formula that you can use to understand how much water you need, and that's 3.3% times your body weight in kilograms, the equivalent in liters. So if we're taking the American in ounces and pounds,
Mm-hmm.
half your body weight in pounds,
Mm-hmm.
yes,
Yeah.
equivalent in ounces.
Oh, that's easier. Half
Yeah,
of the body,
but
right?
in Europe
Equivalent.
we don't use that matrix. So
Mm-hmm.
in Europe, if you're let's say 50 kilos, you multiply that by 3.3%, and the equivalent is, let's say, 1.8 liters. So above that is not very healthy. Like, we're not talking about above quarter liter, like let's say 1.8 up to 2 liters is fine, but less than 1.8 is not fine. So
Mm-hmm.
too much water can harm, too little water can harm. We need the balance. And hydration is the key for high immunity. You can't
Oh
have high
wow.
immunity if you don't have hydration, because imagine not showering for 10 days, or not cleaning up your hands for the entire day. How would that feel?
Ew.
That's exactly what's happening inside your system. Your body needs that water to filter things out, to clean things out.
Wow.
So those are my 4 tips: sleep, move, nutrition, and sleep. Now, the biggest thing, the secret I want to share with everyone,
Mm-hmm.
about like 5, 6 months ago, I have done Dr. Joe Dispenza's work on his website. There is a seminar that he provides online,
Mm-hmm.
intensive and progressive, and he has loads of good meditations on his website. And Matilda, honestly speaking, I don't know how I would have dealt with this period if I haven't done this work. So if you really want good source of books to get inspired and to change your life thought-wise, or if you really want good meditations, visit drjoedispenza.com. That's my secret for
Oh wow.
being this energetic and alive. And okay, this is part of my secret. The other secret is that I'm doing all the foundational principles of holistic health,
Mm-hmm.
but this is also a huge part of my well-being today, and me being in the center and trying to lead people to be in their center.
And I love it. When I was, I mean, I've been following you quite some time, and one of the posts one day was like, "Do you want to be a leader or follower?" And
Mm-hmm.
makes you think, really, how do you want to live life as a
Mm-hmm.
leader or as a follower. And it's nice if each person takes that responsibility to be a leader for their family, for their surrounding, for their, I don't know, for themselves. We can reach a lot of people can do amazing things if the mindset is the right mindset.
Yeah.
Also, one of the things that I love about following you, you were saying that self-care is a priority, not a luxury. And
Absolutely.
it's kind of makes you think. And this quarantine time, it's a good time. So because we have time for ourselves to really realize, do we prioritize ourselves or not? Because there is no excuses anymore. We have the time. We're not going anywhere. It's not like there's parties going on or you have work to do or whatever. You're home. Do you really prioritize yourself? Do you take care of yourself or not? So it's something that everyone should think and then realize, do they do it for themselves or not? Can you give us maybe 1, 2 tips for self-care?
I'm
All
gonna just
of
give you. I'm just gonna give you a very simple formula that I have learned from my favorite mentor, Paul Chek.
Uh-huh.
He taught us. He's the founder of our holistic school, and he says everything in life starts as an I, and then grows into a we, and then becomes all. You can't
Yeah.
start from all into we into I. It starts from a seed, and it becomes a tree, and then it gives fruit.
Oh,
So
nice.
start practicing I, we, and then all.
Very nice. I love it. I love it. So, Houry, I'm sure a lot of people now is interested to be in touch with you.
Mm-hmm.
When and how they can be, give us your website, give us your maybe
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, or I
Mm-hmm.
don't know.
Well, they can find me everywhere as a Station Wellness.
Mm-hmm.
And please feel free to reach out. And even if you think it's a stupid question, most of the time it's not a stupid question. So I'm happy to answer questions. I love people, and I love feeling that I'm being helpful to someone somewhere. So don't hesitate. It's a Station Wellness. My name is Houry Aguilian. So I think it's more difficult to pronounce my name, but Station Wellness is easy to find me on Instagram, on Facebook, and my website is stationwellness.com.
And you have some,
I have a guest right now that needs my hug. That's her eye time, I guess. Yeah, sorry.
oh, very nice, very cute, Jana. I love her t-shirt.
Yeah.
It's very nice. So, and also you have some workshops that you said when we were talking that you're interested to do.
Yes, I'm gonna post a link to
Hmm.
for those who ever are interested. Please send me an email, and
Hmm.
I want to do next Saturday at this time. Sorry, today's Saturday. Yes, next I have lost the days. Like today's which day? Next Saturday at the same time, I'm gonna do free complimentary group coaching for 10 people.
Oh my
So
God, that's amazing. I'm in.
so so whoever is in, please send me an email, and I'll be happy to add you. Um, that's my gift to your audience.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Hurijan.
Thank
And
you so
I'm
much for hosting me.
and
And
I'm sure I'm gonna be there next week because I need a lot of coaching here, all the areas, nutrition. Um,
anytime, anytime.
awesome.
I just want to say something very important about you. What I admire about you, Matilda, is that you're someone who is very courageous to do what her heart is telling her to do. And I really love
Oh,
that in you.
nice.
Keep up the good work. And I love that you're doing this because I know how much you wanted it.
Yeah.
So big congratulations. Thank you for having me, and keep up the good work.
Thank you very much, Anna, and I will see you very soon.
Absolutely. Looking forward.
Thank you, everyone. Ciao, ciao.
Bye, everyone. Ciao.